Fala galera, bem-vindo ao canal Vida de Bodybuilder. Eu tô aqui com meu amigo que ele é Powerlifter aqui dos Estados Unidos. Eu vou fazer uma entrevista aqui com ele bem rapidinha para vocês entenderem mais ou menos como é que é o Powerlifting nos Estados Unidos. Ter uma ideia um pouco diferente. Então eu vou começar aqui a fazer umas perguntas para eles, até que vocês postaram na minha página que eu perguntei para vocês. Vamos lá, espero que vocês gostem e é isso aí. Introduce yourself a little bit. Just say who you are, how old are you, and what do you do.
I'm Artmayer. I'm 22 years old. I'm a senior at University of Philly in computer science, and I powerlift.
How long have you been powerlifting, and when did you start, and why?
I started powerlifting 2 years ago, and it was actually to impress a girl because she did powerlifting.
Really? Just 2 years ago?
Just 2 years ago.
Your lifts are pretty good. And how long have you been just working out at the gym?
I've been working out for about 3.5 years. I started when I was a freshman in college.
Okay, wow, that's pretty cool. Because I thought you've been powerlifting for at least 5 years or something. How is your diet? How many calories you try to eat a day or something like that?
I try to get as many calories as possible. I try to make sure I get at least 5,000.
5,000.
But there's days where if I'm doing a lot of deadlifts or something, I'll try and get 7,000 or something.
Oh, wow.
So I'll eat 8 meals a day and try to make sure each meal is at least 900 calories.
Okay, and how high are you, and how heavy are you?
Right now I'm about 209 pounds. The heaviest I've been is 225 pounds.
Okay, wow. And
I compete in the 198 pound weight class, which would be 90 kilos. So when I'm getting ready for a meet, I'll cut my calories down to 3,000 or 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
And over the course of 2 weeks, using water cutting techniques, I'll drop about 20 to 30 pounds.
Wow, it's pretty nice. Have you ever taken anabolic steroids?
No, I have not.
Never. Have you ever thought about doing them?
I have. I have definitely thought about them.
Do you still want to do it, or?
It's something I might consider doing down the road, but definitely not right now.
Do you think it would be needed for you if you want to keep powerlifting and winning competitions, or are you doing well without them?
I'm doing pretty well without them. I just qualified for nationals and I just won the state meet. But it's something that a lot of the elite powerlifters do, and if I decide to try and make it in the top 10, it's something I might have to consider doing.
Okay. You don't compete in natural powerlifting competitions then, you just compete at what kind of competitions you do?
Yeah, powerlifting competitions aren't considered bodybuilding natural, and
okay,
unnatural. It's just you just go and live. So
alright.
Every now and then they'll randomly test someone, but it's very rare.
Okay, got it. What are your favorite exercise, your favorite lift, and what are your PRs, your max for the big three?
My favorite lift is the squat by far.
The squat.
And my PRs for the three big lifts, which would be bench, squat, and deadlift, is on bench I've hit 385, on deadlift I've hit 615, and on squat I've hit 555.
Well, that's pretty good. Do you hold any kind of record, or have you? Well, you just said that you just won state.
Right.
Well, I just want to know how many titles you have and if you hold any records.
I don't hold any records. I almost held the state deadlift record, and I attempted it twice at the state meet, and I failed it twice.
Okay.
And I actually only have one title because I've only done one meet, so I just started powerlifting.
Okay.
So.
And what is the record that you try to beat?
It was 607 pounds,
and
I was on deadlift.
Okay. Have you ever injured yourself in any way, and what do you do to avoid injuries?
So I never injured myself in powerlifting, but I have a lot of recurring injuries. I played rugby for 7 years.
Okay.
And I dislocated my right shoulder, and I separated my left shoulder twice.
And do you feel that when you lift, or?
When I bench press, I get a lot of shoulder pain.
Okay. Do you do anything to avoid that pain?
Yes. So I went through a lot of physical therapy and recovery stuff for my shoulders, and now every day before I bench press, I do a lot of shoulder recovery stuff and shoulder warm up stuff. And I have a whole day just for shoulder, maintenance.
And do you feel that your bench could have been better if you didn't have that injury, for sure?
Definitely.
All right. For a powerlifter, what is the supplements that you consider to be essential?
Protein, really. I mean, everybody has their own type of pre-workout. Some people drink coffee, some people actually take a pre-workout, but
Yeah.
protein and creatine are the only ones that are really essential.
And you take them like every day of the year?
Yeah.
Okay. No cycling or any bullshit
No,
like
just
that. Okay. If you could just explain your training routines, how do you do it? Like, if you want to build like strength, or do you have like some kind of sort of volume training, or how do you do it? Like, do you have a coach?
I do not have a coach.
No.
But what I do is kind of similar to bodybuilding. You when you get closer to a meet, you know, when you're bodybuilding, you want to get like really lean.
Mm-hmm.
And powerlifting, when you get close to a meet, your ideal is like peak and get as strong as possible. So you cycle it so that you start off doing a lot of like low weight with high reps. So I'll start off, doing like 8 sets of 8 or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then as you get closer and closer to a meet or to whenever I want to try and PR, I'll start cutting down. So I might go from like 8 sets of 8 to like 5 sets of 7,
Mm-hmm.
to like 4 sets of 6, to like 3 sets of 5, 2 sets of 4, and just start going heavier and heavier and heavier, and try and get my CNS used to having a big load on it.
And what is your split right now? Like, what do you do every day of the week? Do you have like, oh, Monday I'm doing just squats, and how does it work?
So Monday I do squats. On Tuesday I do bench press.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday I either do like Olympic lifts, which would be like the snatch and the clean, or take it off. On Thursday I do some type of shoulder press, or something that has to do with shoulders, maybe like jerking or push pressing.
Got it.
And then Friday's deadlift day.
And Saturday, Sunday?
Saturday I'll do like arms,
Arms.
and then Sunday is always off.
Okay, always off for Sunday.
Yeah.
Nice.
Come on! Come on! Again! Come on, keep going. There you go. Don't quit. From your heels up through your ass. Come on. Pull! Pull!
What is one idol you have in the powerlifting world?
Probably Dan Green, just because right now he's
Dan Green?
the hands down best. He holds world records in 242, 220, reps on reps, raw, in gear. Just
Wow.
strong dude.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Now, if you have one piece of advice to give to a newbie in powerlifting, a guy that you just want to start or just starting out in powerlifting, what would you say?
Consistency. Consistency is the king of everything,
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that.
Even if you're having a bad day, you need to get in the gym and do something, just because staying in that habit and staying consistent is going to lead to a lot of gains.
All right. How do you manage to like go to school, study, and still like go every day in the gym? Like, what you just said, like consistency. I gotta go even if I had a bad day, if I have to study for a test. Like, how do you do all that? How do you manage all that? And with the diet and everything.
You gotta make time, So if I know I have to study so much time, and I need to get to the gym, then I'll just have to make time somehow. Sometimes there's days where I'll only get 3 or 4 hours of sleep because I know I need to get to the gym. I know I also need to study, and you gotta make sacrifices because it's what I love to do.
Yeah, that's for sure. I totally agree with that. I always say to my followers, like, you gotta have priorities. Like,
right.
If you have a test, you gotta study for that test, even though like maybe you have to shorten your workout a little bit, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Let's go. Get it. Keep driving. Yeah. What do you think is the biggest difference between bodybuilding and powerlifting?
The biggest difference is probably although they're very similar, and you want to get as big as possible, as much possible. Bodybuilding is more about just being aesthetic and physically appealing.
Yes.
And powerlifting is more about just moving as much weight as possible. So there's a lot of powerlifters who will end up looking almost disformed because they have these extremely strong cores from squatting 800 pounds, whereas in bodybuilding everything's real balanced, real symmetrical, and real appealing.
Yeah. So since you said that, are you really like concerned about your form while you lift? Because you just said that you gotta lift move it as much weight as possible. While like I always try to look at my form and see if I do things correctly. Because an injury, like the end of a career, is an injury away, you know, and I think that goes for powerlifting as well. So how much are you concerned with your form when you lift and against like the weight?
So for me personally, I look at form as almost technique because for the goal is that, like I said, I get as much weight as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost technique. So I'm concerned with my technique to the point of I want to be as efficient as possible. So like on the deadlift, I want to engage my glutes and my hamstrings as much as possible because they're stronger than your lats. But I'm not so much concerned with injuries, so to say, because at least me personally, I feel like if you're worried about injury, you're going into the lift scared. You've already missed the lift.
Got it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
You know, when you're squatting 600 pounds, if you're second guessing yourself, that's when you're going to get hurt. It's not when
True.
you're going in to 100% there.
So you think that mind and body connection is pretty important right there, right?
It's a large part of it.
Yeah. All right. So then, what do you think for a powerlifter are the most essential accessories? What kind of things you should invest your money?
So I think for powerlifter, your favorite accessories, or I guess some things you just mentioned, money in the best. Weight belt. A great weight belt that fits you that you can use a lot is huge.
Okay.
I mean,
Do you have anyone that you recommend, like any kind of brands? Or?
The Ins Are Forever belt.
All right.
I've been using that for a while. I know a lot of people have.
Mm-hmm.
It's guaranteed for life, and it's just built really well.
Yeah, I have one of those. I loved it.
Oh.
And the only thing is like it's heavy as hell. So sometimes I
Yeah.
just don't put it in my bag because I'm like, you know what, I can just use one from the gym. But I love those things, and I know it's gonna last me like a lifetime.
You won't replace it.
Yeah. What about like wrist wraps, knee wraps, anything like that?
So a lot of powerlifters use knee wraps. I don't use knee wraps for knee sleeves because I haven't had any knee problems. I'm a little bit afraid if I start using them, I'll get knee problems.
Might get your knees were kind of weak.
But I actually, when I was in high school, I broke my wrist, and then I refused to let it heal right because I don't want to miss my rugby season.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big fan of wrist wraps.
Okay.
And I use Titans. They're the blue, red, and yellow ones. I forget what they're called, but the thickest wrist wraps. And for me personally, I can't bench or squat without them because of the wristband I get.
Okay.
And I know a lot of other people feel the same way, and they're just. So I would say belt and wrist straps are the biggest, and then for powerlifting, there's two types of shoes people wear. They either wear like the Olympic lifting squat shoes that have the 3/4 inch raised heel,
Okay.
or they'll wear really flat shoes that don't have a lot of like give.
Like Converses.
Like Converses.
Okay. Yeah, I wear the Adidas one. I think it's the 3/4 that you mentioned. I like those ones a lot to like squat. And which one do you use personally?
On everything except for the deadlift, I use the Nike Romeo 2s,
Okay.
which have the 3/4 inch heel.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the deadlift, I use a pair of real flat, basically minimus shoes that have almost no lift off the ground, so that I'm pulling my deadlift, that much shorter to the ground.
I was looking to buy some Vibram for deadlift. I don't know if they work today. Have you ever tried them?
That's actually the bottom of my shoes are actually made by Vibram,
Okay.
so it's like Vibram's except it doesn't have like the toes on it.
Awesome. All right. Cool.
Come on, let's go. Get it up, get it up, get it up, get it up. Come on. Yeah, here we go.
What are the best secondary lifts? Like, what do you think helps with your squats, with your bench, just like make you even stronger for those lifts?
So for the squat, I feel like the best secondary lifts for the squat are just other forms of the squat, because in powerlifting, you squat low bar. And to increase your low bar, the best way to do it, I think, is, high bar and front squat, because those two are really quad dominant movements,
Mm-hmm.
and that will shoot your squat up a lot.
Yeah.
And then also good mornings, which is where you have the bar on your back and you bend over, because that'll hit your hamstrings and your lower back. So if you're squatting and you get into a bad situation, if you have strong quads, strong lower back, strong hamstrings, if you squat and you're uneven or something, chances are if you have those three muscle groups really strong, you're gonna be able to overcome any obstacle.
Yeah, and where would you fit those lifts in? Like, would you fit them in a squat day, or like how would you do that?
So yeah, I would definitely do those on squat day, and then depending on how much energy I have left over on like arms or shoulder day, I might hit those too. Because a lot of times when I'm like planning out what my cycle's gonna be, I'll evaluate myself and I'll say, you know, on the squat I'm really weak coming out of the hole, and it's because I can't keep my lower back tight, and so I might do that more on shoulder day.
Got it. What about for bench and deadlifts?
So for bench, I think for me at least, I think the best secondary would be close grip bench press and tricep extensions.
For sure.
Because with close grip bench press, you know, your range of motion is greater. So not only is it you're hitting your triceps more to help your lockout, the longer range of motion makes your body work more, and it's so that just makes your bench go up overall, and it's less taxing on your CNS because it's less weight, but it's still the same level of difficulty because of that increased range of motion.
Got it. And what about for deadlift? So
for deadlift's a little bit trickier because your deadlift really uses almost every part of your body. But I think deficit deadlifts, so like deadlifting from like a plate, straight leg deadlifts or Roman deadlifts, and just rack pulls really. So like when you have the bar and the rack and it kind of like starts at your knees, like partial deadlifts, and you're just working on locking it out.
Got it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. You work more with your back, right?
Right.
You don't engage your quads as much
or
anything. Okay, got it. Oh yeah, I forgot one about cardio. Okay. How much do you think cardio is important for a powerlifter, and when do you do it, and why, and how much of it do you do?
So I'm going to get into this in two parts. So I'll show what I personally think and what a lot of people personally think.
Alright, okay.
I personally think cardio has next to no effect on powerlifting for 99% of people. And I think the only time I use cardio is when I'm trying to cut weight, or in like the first 5 minutes or something when I'm coming in from outside and I'm cold and I want to warm up.
Okay. But
the second part of it, from what most people think, a lot of people view cardio and powerlifting as it's a way to increase your work capacity. So there's a lot of people out there who, you know, they just get tired. So, you know, you're squatting 500 pounds for just a 5. After your first set of 5, you got it, but you're just so tired that it's really hard for you to do your second set of 5. Or even after that, you're just so drained that your secondary lifts or whatever your accessory lifts, you just don't have the energy to do it. And people think that by doing more cardio,
maybe your cardiovascular health is better and your endurance is better.
Exactly, and you'll be able to do that extra rep, or you'll be able to, you know, be in better shape overall.
So when you're trying to cut weight for a competition, what cardio do you do, and like for how long?
So I'm trying to cut weight for a competition. I use the same weight training techniques that were taught to me when I used to wrestle. So I'll do like HIIT, which is high intensity interval training.
Okay.
So like I'll get on a bike and I might sprint for like 2 minutes, and then, you know, rest for a minute, and sprint for 2 minutes, and rest for a minute.
And for how long do you do that?
It really depends on how much weight I still need to cut.
Okay.
But generally I'll do it for about 30 minutes.
Wow, that's a lot.
Just because.
And do you try to keep your heart rate at a certain range, or you don't care about that?
I don't really care about that.
Just try to
get as much calories out of me as possible and increase my metabolism as much as possible.
Got it. All right. Thank you very much, Dan.
Yeah.
I think that was a lot of nice information for people out there. I think my followers enjoyed that, and that's it. All right. Thank you very much. É isso aí, galera. Obrigado por ter assistido até o final. O Dan veio aqui de boa vontade fazer entrevista para vocês. Ele ajudou bastante, até ele bolou umas perguntas aqui. E é isso aí. Se você curtiu do vídeo, dá um like, por favor, que ajuda muito. Se inscreve no canal se você não conhece. Ainda vou fazer mais entrevistas com outras pessoas, outros atletas aqui dos Estados Unidos, meus amigos da faculdade. E é isso aí. Até o próximo vídeo e tamo junto.